Live. Hello, guys. It's me, it's Charlene. Um, I was supposed to start at 9 o'clock, but I was having some technical difficulties. The computer, for some reason, would not connect to the internet. Anyway, I'm a little bit off here, but you guys know how I am. I'm always messing with my lighting. And I also like to make sure that you can see me. And I see I have one person on already. Hi, who's that? Shy. Anyway, you're welcome to write in the chat if you want to. Um, Tonight, I'm doing something a little bit different. I usually talk on uh, Tuesday nights. So tonight is Wednesday night. Of course, you guys know that. It's a little bit later than what I usually like to start, but I'm not going to be long. And before I get started, I always say that my what I share is my opinion only. So my opinion is for me. You can agree with me or not, and that's perfectly fine. That's why it's my opinion. Um, so let's go ahead and get started. The topic that I chose tonight to speak on is the topic of misunderstanding. Um, I actually had Escape, the girl group. I had their song. I was gonna put that song on here, but like I said, my original live was deleted, and so I'm starting a little bit later. Hope you guys don't mind. If you're not watching live, of course, it'll be on YouTube, so you can go back and look at it, and I'll send it the link to all of you that were not able to join. If you get on here and you want to say something to me, of course, again, go ahead and write in the chat. If you want to email me, you can do that as well. V as in Victor, E as in egg, TTE 618 at yahoo.com. Y'all, y'all know I do this. That's my signature. Stop playing in your hair. But y'all know I do that. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started. Like Escape says, what I need from you is understanding. So when we look up understanding in the Webster Dictionary, which I did, um, understanding something is to make sense of it. Understanding something is to get an idea of what it is that you are researching. For instance, if you are researching a topic in school, one of the things that you would like to do first is to figure out what the topic is about. You need to gather an understanding of the topic before you can talk about the topic, before you can write about the topic, before you can explore it, etc., etc. Because if you don't know what you're talking about or what you're researching, then there's no way you're going to understand how to put that together. So, again, I use a lot of different analogies. I don't rehearse anything, just whatever the Lord put in my spirit, I share it with you guys as it comes to me. So, for whatever reason, that topic came to me. So, we're going to talk a little bit about that. Again, to understand something is to make sense of it. Okay. Um, in my life, there has been several times that me personally, again, I like to use some personal experiences without telling on my business. There have been some instances where I have been misunderstood. This could be at work. This could be with my parent, my mom. This could be with my kids. This could be with my significant other. This could be with someone in the church, etc., etc. There are different levels of being misunderstood all throughout any relationship that you may have or that may I may have. So I'll give an example of a work misunderstanding. So a lot of times at work, if your supervisor, say for instance, is giving you some type of a directive and they're asking you to do a certain thing, if you don't get the full understanding of what it is that this person is trying to ask you to do on your job, there could be a disconnect and you won't get that job done because you did not totally understand the assignment. So it's very important when you understand what somebody is saying. I'm going to go somewhere with this. Just give me a minute. Again, children and parents are misunderstood or they misunderstand one another. I know I have three children, and until my daughter will verify this because she and I used to butt heads a lot. She didn't understand me as her mom, trying to tell her different things, and likewise I didn't understand her as my daughter, trying to get me to see things from her perspective. So we would have a lot of misunderstandings. We would not know how to figure things out or communicate. Now that's the word we're gonna get back to. So not understanding what someone is communicating to you is very, 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 very serious. And that's something that we all need to work on, including myself. I know I do. Um, so as time went along though, and I'll keep talking about my daughter, she got a little bit older. And my son too, my older son, oldest son, he and I would like miscommunicate things as well. But as they got older, and as I got, older, of course, I started listening to them more. And I was like, you know what? They are teenagers. You know what? They are young adults. I can't treat them like a 10-year-old anymore. And there was an incident once that happened between my son and I. It wasn't nothing bad or anything, but we had this misunderstanding. I'll use this. Um, he was trying to say something to me, and he was like, "Mom, you talking to me like, I'm Chris age, and y'all know Chris by now. Whoever follow me, y'all know Chris because he be poking his head in here." But and I had to sit back, and I was like, "Well, I'm your mama." But then I got to thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? He's right. He's not that 10-year-old anymore. He's a young man. I have to treat him like a young man. So I did, I sucked it up, and I went and apologized to him. I said, you know what? I know I'm your mama, this, that, and the other. And I know that I have my own idea of things, and I've got my own, way about things. But you are your own person. I have to respect that. And I apologized to him, and we talked about what it was that had happened or what have you. And like I said again, it wasn't anything like bad or anything, but it was just a point that he made that, you don't understand. And I had to like suck it up. And I was like, you're right. I really didn't understand it from your point of view, but now I understand. So that was another instance. Another thing that we have to work on, and that is in a relationship. Sometimes we end relationships prematurely because of misunderstanding somebody. Um, Everybody has their own point of view, POV. Trust me, everybody has their own point of view. Everybody, and I talk about this because depending on the way you were raised, your background, different things, and what have you, you're gonna think differently. You've had different experiences that have molded you and made you the person that you are. So yes, you will have a different POV. You will not think the same way that somebody else will think. I can't think the same way that somebody else think because I don't know what they went through. Vice versa, they don't know what I went through. So you have to be very careful about that. And then there's another big word that comes in, that's judging. And I'm writing these words down because I will come back to them. Y'all know how I do. So that comes to judging. You have to be very careful of that. And the Bible talks about that. The Bible tells us that in Mark, we cannot judge anybody because the same merit that we judge, we will be judged by. So we can't like judge people. And I think a lot of times when there's a miscommunication and a misunderstanding, there is some judgment in there. I'll be the first one to say it, whether it's innocent or not, whether it's intentional or not. There is some judgment there. So we have to be very careful about that. I did a whole series on judging and forgiving. I think I did 3 different podcasts. If you want to go back and look at those, please go back and look at those. I used scripture reference in there so that people could, it wasn't something I said. It was something that God said, and it's in the Bible. You cannot judge others. Um, So the main thing again that I want to talk about is misunderstanding. And because of not being able to communicate, and because of um, a sense of judgment, a lot of things go south. So, other types of misunderstandings could be just as simple as, we can even be in a store or what have you. And we can be talking to the cashier or someone in a restaurant or what have you. And they may not have heard us. So, a lot of times the misunderstandings come because we're not listening. It's another important word. I write that down. So, if you're not properly listening, there's a very good chance that you're gonna get a miscommunication. And I'll be the first one to say I'm working on that. Um, I don't think that I don't listen intentionally. I think I don't listen because I just don't hear stuff sometimes. Probably need to get my ears checked. I don't know, but that could be a real serious thing as well because if you are like in any situation, I say church, I'll say work, I'll say home, I'll say with your friends, your homies, your homegirls, whatever. Um, if you're not listening properly or if you're not attentive to whoever's speaking to you, there is a miscommunication. There's a misconnect. There is a lack of understanding. And that's another good word we're going to write down, understanding. And I like to write these words down because a lot of times if I come back and do a part two, I'll come back and I'll talk about a communication piece. I'll talk about a judgment piece. I'll talk about a listening piece and I'll talk about an understanding piece. So if you want to write them down as well, you can. Who is this right here? I'm trying to see who this is. I can't see who it is. Write in the chat. Who is this? It doesn't matter. I just wanted to so I could thank you properly. But anyway, you don't have to say anything, but thank you. Um, again, guys, let's just continue to work. And I'm not gonna be long tonight because I started this late, and when I want to go into more detail, I'm gonna go ahead and say yes, there will be a part two because I do want to come back and talk about these. Oh, hi, Velvet. Hey, I do want to come back and talk about communicating and the lack thereof. I do want to come back and talk about judging because we should not judge. We cannot judge nobody. We can't. I always say you point one finger at somebody. How many we got going back? One, two, three. All these are coming back to you. And the Bible tells us if you judge, you're gonna be judged. Listening. It's very, very important to listen. And I will say this about listening. Some people need to work on that, like me. But even in school, it wasn't that I wasn't listening. I would have to write stuff down 3 times. That's no lie. When I would go to a class and listen to a seminar, I would get the outline and then I would take a note card. I would have to write it down. And I did this through undergrad and graduate. I had to write it down. I read it one time just to be reading it. I read it a second time to get an understanding of it. I read it a third time and I wrote down stuff so that I could understand what I was looking at. So just like doing coursework in school or what have you, maybe those are some of the things that we could consider when we are trying to figure out what it is that we are miscommunicating, what it is that we are not understanding, etc., etc. So again, this is going to be a short live. Did you want to say anything? Huh? Yes, no, maybe so. Hey, I'm gonna say hey. Thanks for joining. I'm writing it in the chat. Thanks for joining. Okay. Put a smiley face. Okay. But thank you. But anyway, did you want to say something? You can write it in the chat. Go ahead. But anyway, that's the gist of what we're gonna be talking about. I will do a part two. This session has gone on for 14 minutes, about 15. I'm gonna wrap it up. in about 20 minutes, and we can do another one at another time. I'll try to come back on my regular day, which is Tuesday. Um, Again, like Escape says, what I need from you is understanding. So if you need to understand something, if you need to understand someone, the best way to do that is to communicate. If you do not communicate, that's when barriers are built. That's when grudges are created. That's where a lot of things happen that don't necessarily need to happen just because it was a misunderstanding. Now, when someone is communicating with you, one thing I do have to say is don't get into yourself. A lot of times we get into ourselves, and our way is the only way. No, it's not. No, it's not. And that's why I always say when I'm doing these type podcasts and lives that my opinion is strictly my opinion. And my opinion means nothing to nobody but me. But hopefully, prayerfully, you can get something out of my opinion. Okay. So it's okay. And my pastor, Pastor Linville, who's gone on to glory, he dropped a lot of good golden nuggets. One of the things that he taught us or said to us is that if you don't believe in anything, you'll fall for everything. So you have to believe in something. And basically, what he was saying is believe in, what you want to believe in. And he also said it's okay to disagree, but don't be disagreeable. So basically, that means that yes, you can have your own opinion, you can have your own mindset, you can have your own thoughts, ideas, etc., etc. But does that make you right and the other person wrong? No, it does not. Does that make me right because it's what I think? No. Does that make you right because it's what you think? No. What it means is that's what you value, that's what you believe, that's what you think, and that's perfectly fine. But it's okay for the other person to think a different way. And it's okay, again, to disagree as long as you're not disagreeable. That means that you are not able to speak on it, you're not able to discuss it, and you're not able to talk about it because your way or no way, or you're the highway, like the older people used to say, it's my way or the highway. That's not good because everybody have different ideologies and opinions and thoughts and what have you. So, again, the title of this one was What I Need from You is Understanding. And hopefully, you got a little bit of an understanding about what I was speaking about in terms of a misunderstanding. And a lot of times, a misunderstanding begins with a miscommunication. It begins with not listening. It begins with judging, and it begins with not understanding what the other person was saying to you. So, with that, I'm going to say good night. Again, this is your girl Charlene on a Wednesday night, November 15th, 2023. I hope you enjoyed this, my opinion, thoughts, and ideas. Um, if you want to, you can leave a comment in the chat. You can email me with some other things that you want to. Even after this live stops, you can still communicate through the chat, and I'm going to get back with you on it. The next time we do this, next week, I will be going back and talking about communicating, judging, listening, and misunderstanding. Okay. All right. Good night, y'all. It was fun, and we are right at 19 minutes, so that's not too bad. Not bad at all. Y'all have a good night. God bless you. Until next time, peace. See ya.